Well, let's pick up on a little bit of that now with Antonia Kerrigan, who's with me here in the studio. And Antonia, you're going to talk to us first of all about Donald Trump pulling the United States out of the Paris climate deal. Just explain to us why it is he's decided to do that.
Well, this was part of an executive order entitled Putting America First in International Environment Agreements, language we've obviously heard before. And this, to state the obvious, means that the US is no longer a co-signatory to this objective of keeping global warming under 2 degrees, ideally 1.5 degrees, above pre-industrial levels. And it also revokes and rescinds what's called the US International Climate Finance Plan. That was a Joe Biden initiative intended to make money available for developing countries, both to reduce their own emissions and also to adapt to a changing climate. In 2024, that was worth $11 billion during the course of the year. That money is now gone. And when you ask why he's doing it, the strong suggestion he's making is that America globally is carrying an unfair burden. Let's listen to how he justified this.
But I'm immediately withdrawing from the unfair, one-sided Paris Climate Accord ripoff. The United States will not sabotage our own industries while China pollutes with impunity. China.
So let's talk a bit about this China argument. If we look at a graphic here that tells us a little bit about emissions, you can see on the left recent emissions. China is currently polluting much more than the US is. However, historically, cumulatively, these figures on my right show that cumulatively the US has overall put far more greenhouse gases in the atmosphere than China ever has. US emissions did peak back in 2007, roundabout, and Chinese emissions may now have peaked. The jury's still somewhat out about that. But certainly this narrative whereby the US is being asked to foot someone else's bill because they've got deep pockets, it's not entirely accurate, certainly.
And look, Antonia, another big theme of Trump's is protecting US industry as he sees it. He's used that phrase several times, hasn't he? Drill, baby, drill. Tell us about the orders he's done so far that relate to boosting fossil fuel production.
Well, they're many and varied. One of them declared a national energy emergency. Another was entitled Unleashing America's Energy Potential, and wording in those included removing what he called burdensome and ideologically motivated regulations on energy, read oil and gas. Of course, Joe Biden made take certain steps to make renewables, to boost renewables production, and also on the list of executive orders, lo and behold, was a temporary withdrawal of all areas on the outer continental shelf from offshore wind leasing. So he's, on the one hand, mitigating renewables, and on the other hand, looking to boost oil and gas production. He also revoked Joe Biden's last-ditch effort about 2 weeks ago, a memorandum aimed at protecting coastal waters from drilling, again on the outer continental shelf. There's also the Unleash Alaska's Extraordinary Resource Potential executive order. So a lot of the word unleash, a lot of this idea that regulation in the Biden years has been preventing America from having access to cheap, reliable energy, and that now it is time to unleash all that through heavy drilling. Of course, it remains to be seen how much he will increase that kind of potential, but a lot of that is extremely controversial.